All right. So these three dots are actually other features or other things that you can actually do while you are making a presentation. The availability of features in these three dots depends on the kind of what do you call it, form that you're using. If we are using the browser-based themes, the functionality is not that many. If you can see here, the one that I'm showing you, it is, we don't have actually the background and kind of thing, all right? So you will not be able to show your background. But if we are using the, desktop base of your browser, of your Teams, then there are actually more functionality that you can actually use there. All right, but the most important functionality that you want to have is actually the recording one. All right, you want to be able to record your session so that you can actually keep the session for later use. Right? If, say, for example, you want to make it available to your students, you can post the session. The recording will automatically be stored in Microsoft Stream, but Microsoft Stream for the moment is not available to people outside of your organization. So what I usually do is that I will download from Stream and upload in my YouTube channel. And then you can give the link to the YouTube channel to your participant or whoever wants to listen or go through the recording. They can actually watch it from the YouTube channel. I will be giving you the link for yesterday's recording in a little while. Okay. All right. So that is some of the things there. And this is the icon for sharing. If you click this icon, then you can share whether you want to share your desktop or whether you want to you want to share just your the what do you call it, the thing that you are somebody is raising their hand. Is there a problem? You can't hear me or anything? Or can you type or something is not right? Hang on, yeah. Can I continue? Okay, so the next one is the microphone. You can mute the microphone if you want to, and you can okay. All right, and the other one is for camera. So camera wise, you can turn it on if you want to. But like I said, for bandwidth purposes, usually we turn it off. We can turn it on for a while to just introduce ourselves so that people can see who we are. But then, you can turn it on as you do the meetings. Yeah, especially if you want to know whether your students are actually in front of you, you can ask them to turn on their camera. Or if you want to call them out to answer certain questions, then you can ask them to turn on the camera and also turn on their microphone so that they can do the answering. Okay. All right. So that is the control panel for the live or the virtual classroom or virtual conference available in Teams. I think it is almost similar to any of the virtual platform that you are used to. If you are using WebEx, it's the same thing. If you are using Zoom, also the control is almost the same. All right. So I'm going to share my screen so that we can start. So once you share your screen, there are options that you can actually choose in sharing your screen. One, you have your entire desktop or window, all right, screen share. The other one is you can share just the PowerPoint that you have open on your desktop, or you can share Microsoft Whiteboard. It's what we'll take a look at it in a later, or if we do have another session, after this. All right, and things like that. So to me, it's much easier for us to control our movement if we just share our desktop. All right, so I'm going to share my desktop. Click your entire screen and share. All right. if you want to go to any website, all is actually covered in your desktop. Yeah, so rather than just one at a time, and if you want to say for example, from the PowerPoint, you want to go to a website, you have to close the PowerPoint and then open the website, that kind of thing. Might as well share the entire desktop, and you will be able to see the entire screen or whatever that you have on your desktop. I'm trying to get my other computer hooked so that I can have two. Okay, so hang on. All right, so that's how that's how we can control the virtual meeting. Yeah. Okay, so I'm sharing my desktop, so you should be able to see now when I use or when I open my PowerPoint. Okay, so today what we are, as we mentioned yesterday, I think there are no new attendees this morning. I think those who are here were with me yesterday, so we may not need to review the class team setup. I will just go straight away to the class notebook in Teams, and then we will take a look at other apps that you can actually integrate into Teams to encourage interactivity amongst the student. Yeah, so that's basically what we are going to do this morning. All right, so we're going to get straight into the class that we created yesterday, which is okay. This is class fishery 101. I think all of you attending this morning were in this class yesterday, so we'll just continue with this one. Yeah, hang on. Yeah, let me. I'm trying to set up the other computer. It went. Okay, all right. Okay, so we are back at class Teams Fishery 101, and we want to take a look at the class notebook. Yesterday, when we did the assignment, we said that this assignment is basically just one standalone, independent kind of assignment. It is not connected to other things. So when you give the students assignment, you are able to also grade the assignment as is, and the grades will be stored in grades. Whereas in a class notebook, it's a little bit more involved because a class notebook is similar to the OneNote application. How many of you here have used OneNote before? Can you raise your hand, or can you just type yes or no in the chat place? Have you seen or have you tried out OneNote before, or Evernote before this? No, everybody have not seen OneNote before. Okay, never mind. As we do this, if we have a little time at the end afterwards, I can also introduce you to OneNote, which is actually a very what do you call it, interesting apps for us to be able to keep all the necessary document in one place. All right. So this OneNote is actually a version of the class notebook is a version of OneNote meant for classroom or activities. All right, so we can create a class notebook in our class, and there are going to be things that you can actually do in a class notebook that cannot be done in the assignment. Okay, so let's set up one, and then we can see what happens. Yeah, so we're going to start off with a blank notebook. Okay, so a class notebook, as like I said just now, like in OneNote, you are going to have three different sections in a class notebook. One is the collaboration space. So here, instead of yesterday, we were doing collaboration using the files and using PowerPoint. All right. in class notebook, there is a dedicated collaboration space that you can actually use, and you can put anything that you want in here. Your students can edit, you can edit, your students can contribute, you can subdivided into 4 sections. All right, section 1 is handouts, section 2 is class notebook, section 3 is homework, and section 4 is quizzes. And this particular section, you can actually customize it to your own needs. If you do not want, like say for example, perhaps you think class notebook, handouts and class notes are almost the same thing, so you do not want, you want to take out one of them. Let's say take out handout, and you are left with class notebook, homework, and quizzes. But we do not, so at the university level, you don't usually give homework, so we don't want that in there. All right, and maybe we add a different section. We can say assignment. Right? Okay, so it's up to you to customize what you want to include in the student's notebook. All right, so let's say, for example, I just want these 3. I want a place to put my notes, I want a place to put my quizzes, and I want a place to put my maybe written assignment and whatnot. So that once that is done, we will create the notebook. Okay, so before I move on to creating the notebook, any questions so far up to now? All right, so the class notebook is a place where a lot of activities can happen because you have a collaboration space in it. Whereas in the assignment, like I said, it is a standalone, independent kind of an assignment, right? Okay, so let's create and see what is in here. All right, it will take a little bit of time for it to be created, but again, in the collaboration space, you and your students can actually work in it. It's meant for collaboration lah. You know, you can actually comment on your students' work. They can actually put in the materials that they have. Between students and students, they can give feedback among each other and things like that. So that's what the collaboration space is for. All right. Whereas the individual students' notebook is meant for us to actually give students work individually in the class. So once it is created, this is what it will look like. All right. So welcome to a class notebook. And okay, if we were to click this arrow here, it will expand the notebook. Okay, so that's for example, okay, they usually will have this welcome thing to tell you about what notebook is all about and whatnot, so you can just ignore that. All right, and they have that is the collaboration space. If you click on the collaboration space, again, the first page is a section that will tell you, or that will welcome you on using collaboration space. All right, so this is collaboration space section. This is the first page under collaboration space. If we click that, it's just getting started. Tell you a little bit about what collaboration space is all about. A notebook is divided into sections and pages. All right, if you look down here, underneath here, you will see that there is section, which is the big one, and there is pages. So once you click on a section, you can add pages. You can also add section within this place here. All right. Then you have another section which is content library. And then you have all your students' notebook. So these are people who were here yesterday and registered themselves into my class. So all their names are here. So if I were to click Dr. Hazlina's notebook, it will give me the class note, the quizzes, and the assignment. Right? Exactly what I created just now. All right. So each and every one of these, Dr. Shahir notebook also has the same thing. So it is standard for all the students in your class. All right. So that is the first step, first thing that you need to look at. Once you created the notebook, you will have available to you sections in the notebook. There are 3 major sections. One is the collaboration space. One is the content library. Like I said, content library is where you can put in things, but students can only read. All right, similar to the folder that we saw in files yesterday. All right, where you can actually put in your class materials, read-only materials. All right. Then the other section is the student's notebook. So the student's notebook will have the name of each student. But if you are a student, you will only see your notebook. You won't be able to see everybody else. Because I am the lecturer, I see everybody. Right? So I see the list of students in my class and I see each and everyone's notebook. But if you were to log in and take a look at your class notebook, you will have collaboration space, content library, and your own notebook. You won't have your friend's notebook to look at. Right? So that's why I say this is a little bit more advanced or a little bit more involved than assignment, because here we can do a lot more things with our students in one place. All right? Okay, so let's take any questions so far? Clear, yeah? A class notebook consists of 3 major sections: collaboration space, where everybody can come in and put their things, edit, insert whatever you want. All right? Content library, meant for the teachers, meant for the lecturers to upload materials for students to refer to. All right? And students' notebook. From the lecturer's point of view, the student's notebook will have a list of the student's name and their notebook. From the student's point of view, they will only see their name under the notebook. All right, so they will only have access to their own notebook. Yeah. Okay. So let's begin by looking at the collaboration space. Okay. So when we go into the collaboration space, like we see just now, drop down, we have the first page under the collaboration space section is getting started with collaboration. So this is for you to read, like the introduction of what the collaboration space is. Yeah. So you can actually now, let's add page to the collaboration space so we can start working. Right. So I'm going to add a new page. Why is this not? Okay. All right. So this is the new page. I can title it, let's say, trying out. Okay. If you are with me right now, trying it out with me right now, you can go to your own notebook and check out the collaboration space. Do you have this particular page added to it? Trying out. All right. So here I can start off by giving you an assignment or giving you something to write on or ask you a question. Then you can actually contribute your stuff or your thing. All right. Let's say, for example, we are looking at semester break plan. All right. So I want you to write out or give me three things that you are planning to do during semester break. Let's say, for example, this is what the question is. So again, if you are in my class, if you have access to this, you can actually type in your thing, right? You can insert stuff. For example, you can insert a file, you can insert picture, you can insert link. And if you do not like to type, you can insert an audio. That means you can record. You know, you click this audio. Let's say, for example, I want to click this audio. Okay, I can click this audio, the recording start, allow the microphone. All right, now we can start recording. Okay. Okay, testing. Are we good? Recording yet? Okay, so once it is done, your audio should be okay. Let's say, okay, okay, it is not recording yet. Let's. Okay, so if you once you're done, you listen to it. So you, all right, now we can start recording. Okay, okay. So you can listen to it yourself. All right, so that is an audio message that you can also put in. Testing. Are we recording yet? All right, so that is an audio message that you can put in if you do not want to do writing. Or if you want your students to actually articulate in a verbal form rather than in a written form, then you can ask them to come in here and record themselves and just leave the recording here for you to listen to as far as their answers is concerned. So this is what we meant by the collaboration space. It is accessible both to the students and also the lecturer. All right, so if anybody can come in and just insert anything that you can in the collaboration space, you can see what will happen in it. Yeah. So this is what do you call it? A space for you and your students to work together, right? Or for your students and other students to work together. So you can assign stuff and put it and get the students to actually upload it here or insert it here as a means of sending the thing to you. All right. So that is one different between using the class notebook and the assignment. When we use the assignment, we do not have the opportunity for students to do collaboration that much. Right? We need to actually couple the assignment or combine the assignment with the files if we want to do collaboration and then get them to answer the assignment. But here, you can actually do both things in one place. Right, so it's up to you whether to just want to focus or use the assignment as is, or you can actually use the class notebook and make sure that whatever that needs to be done in the class will be done via the class notebook. Right, so that is the first section, which is the collaboration space. Okay. All right, again, you can add as many pages as you want in the collaboration space. So for example, for this particular course, Fishery 101, there may be things, you may have like group work that you are doing with your students, maybe every 3 weeks or maybe every 2-3 weeks, then you can have those collaboration or discussion done in the class notebook itself. So you can actually track who is doing what, what kind of input they are bringing in and things like that. Right, so that is what the collaboration space is all about. Okay. The other part is the content library. Content library, like we said earlier, it is meant for the teachers to add in stuff in the content library. So let's say, for example, we add another page in the content library, and I want to say opinion on remote learning. Right? Okay, so what happened is that this is as is, students can only see this and not be able to do anything with it. All right, but you can actually assign this page if you want students to respond to you on this particular topic. What you can do is you can actually assign this particular page to your students. Okay, so let's say, for example, I want to assign that page and I go to this class notebook functionality. You have distribute page, distribute new section, copy to content library, review student works and whatnot. So let's say we want to actually distribute this page to our students. Yeah, so we're going to say distribute page. Right, and it will pull out the name of the students in your class. Okay, and you want this to be distributed to which of the 3 sections? Remember earlier we got 3 sections that we created in our students' class notebook. Let's say, for example, this one, I want it to be in the assignment section. All right, so we'll do assignment section. Okay, then now I can distribute the page opinions on remote learning to all the students. Okay, so it will distribute, and later on when the students open their own notebook, they will find this particular page in the individual student notebook. All right, so let's give it a little bit of time. Okay, so that is how we can actually prepare, or we can do things within the content library. We can just upload all the things that you need to give your students throughout the semester. At the beginning of the semester, just put it in the content library, but only distribute it when you want the students to have it, right? So that can happen. So it's done, should be distributed. If you open your own page, let's say I opened Dr. Hazlina's book, and I put it where just now, assignment, right? See, the assignment is already in the assignment section of Dr. Hazlina's notebook. So she can now start working on it, and then once done, I can actually go and check, review student work, and see whether it is, it is done, and what do you call it, like what we saw in the assignment yesterday. You can give feedback and things like that, right? So this is the use of the class notebook, meaning that I think for a lecturer, it will make it, you will make your work a little bit more organized. If you, let's say, from the beginning of the semester, you have already put in all your contents, you have already created a new experience. Yeah, okay. See, Dr. Hazlina has already written a thing there. So let's say if we want to review her work, all right? So I can go to review student work, go to assignment, all right, go to next. Okay, select a page to review. There's only one page that we assign. Go to next, and okay. Oops, sorry. All right, so I can actually look at her work. No, look. Did I unlock? Okay, so we have, I can actually put in my remark here by saying, okay, thank you for participating. Okay, then I can just leave my remarks there, or I can actually put other things, yeah, if you want to, So again, it is open. You can actually put whatever that you need to put in the class notebook. You want, let's say, for example, if I want to insert example, a picture to help her understand this thing, yeah, I can say, okay, let's see lah, just put an airplane picture, right? Anything as far as graphic is concerned, anything that you that has this Creative Commons only, these are pictures that we can actually use without having to worry about IP rights, or what do you call it, copyright, right? So all the things under Creative Commons we can use freely. We can actually not worry about people suing us, kind of thing lah. Okay, so I can actually add things to the Dr. Hazlina's page, maybe in trying to help her understand, or if her answer is not that up to mark, these are some of the things that you can actually help the students with. You can also draw, right? You have a pen here. Let's say, for example, I can mark. Okay, this is correct. Oops, what color? Oh, okay, color merah lah best kan. So mark, okay. You can actually insert things, or if I don't want that, I can erase. Let me just put another one. Nicely done. Okay. Then you can add things there. And if you are teaching math, like I said the other day, like we were looking at Microsoft Forms, you can also have things that has something to do with math. You can actually insert it in here. All right. If I want to insert other things, I also on this page I'm not able to insert the audio. Let's as opposed to the one in the collaboration space, you can actually insert audio. So this again, everything is one place. You can assign. Your students can do whatever that they need to do in the class notebook. You can do the marking. You can do the the checking of the student work also within the class team. The difference between, like I said earlier, the difference between the class notebook and the assignment. Class notebook, you have the opportunity to also do collaboration work with your students, right? So if we go back to here and we look at the collaboration space, right, and okay, using the collaboration, what was the, okay, trying out. Okay, for example, if somebody has already written, I can close this. All right, so there you go. All right, you can actually add things here as well. All right, the same kind of thing that we did in the class notebook just now. You can actually insert stuff. You want to insert link. You want to insert symbol. You want to insert emoji also can. All right, if you want, there is draw. Again, if you are into drawing, into writing things, if you have a tablet that has a touch screen and you have those stylus pen, it would be very nice for you to actually write things on your students' notes, or they can also write things on it if they have the same kind of device, in terms of collaborating with you or communicating with you. All right, so this is what we meant by the class notebook. All right, so if we go back to the section, okay, we have the first part is the section, and the second part is the pages. So you have collaboration space, content library, and student notebook as a section. You can also add new section. Let's say, for example, you want to add a new section called project, group project. Okay, you want this to be different or outside of the normal kind of material that you have. So this is a dedicated section just for project. So you can actually click project, and you are given a different section entitled group project. So you can hear the first page is, maybe you can write first page is introduction. Oops. Oh, I'm using a pen. Well, let me close back my pen. Okay. Okay. Go back here, type things. All right. So the first introduction to the project, for example. Introduction to team members lah. Right. So here we can actually, okay, I have this section, under the new section called group project. All right, under the collaboration space. Okay, and then I add the first page is introduction to team members, and I want each team member, each person, please introduce yourself. All right, so that is the first assignment, or the first thing that your students need to do. So those people coming in here, they can see this, and they can actually type and start typing their information in here, or they want to put their pictures or whatever, they can actually do that. All right, so that is you can, like I said just now, the three default section: collaboration space, content library, and also the student's notebook, individual student. But then you can add other sections. Yeah, you can add other sections to the new the new sections to the number of sections that you have. And for each section, it is subdivided into pages. So here our new section is group project, And the first page of the group project is introduction to team members. Maybe the second page will be project description. Right, project description, and maybe you will write something on it, you know, what is the requirement and stuff like that. You can actually put it here, and you can get students to fill in whatever that you need them to fill in, right? So that is how a notebook is organized. Notebook ni, you can actually imagine your binder, your white ring binder. You have the big binder, and then you have sections. You have those dividers that you use in order to divide it among into sections. Yeah, so it is a similar thing. You have the big binder, which is the notebook, and then you have within the notebook you have sections. Within the section you have pages. Let's say, for example, you have in your what you call white ring binder, the first section is attendance of your students, and within the attendance you have class 1, class 2, class 3. So attendance is the section, class 1, class 2, class 3 is your pages, right? And the next section is assignment, then assignment week 1, week 2, week 3. So that is the, what you call it, the analogy that it's been used to actually create one note, and also to create this class notebook. All right, so that is how we can actually use the class notebook to our advantage. You can actually put everything in here, pre-planned if you want to. You can put all your content in the content library. Students will not be able to touch it. They can just look at it and, you know, not able to do it. Then once you want the content to be distributed, then you distribute it to the students accordingly, whether you want it to be in the class notes or in quizzes or in assignment, what have you. Right? So everything that your students need to work on will be in this one section, or in this one space. All right? That is, you can also actually, oh no, this is per class. I mean, one class, they will have one notebook. Right? So if you have different classes, you will create different notebook for those classes. All right? Any question? Am I making sense? Okay, so again, in this yesterday we created our class. So here you have Fishery 101. So the things that we can do within this Fishery 101 class, yesterday we saw posts, we saw files, we saw assignment and grades, and now we're looking at how we can take advantage of this class notebook. Most of the time, if you are already using class notebook, as far as assignments is concerned, you usually only used it for testing, for quizzes. The other written assignment, you can actually do it within the class notebook itself. Because the same principle applies. Like say yesterday we saw how we grade the assignment. We look at it and we give points and things like that. That can also happen when you work on the student work here. If you look at this class notebook functionality, review student work is the same thing. You can actually review the student's work, but in class notebook, you can have an interchange with your students. You can get them to revise things. You know, you can give feedback. You can tell them to change this, to change that. Before you accept their work. Whereas in the assignment pane, it is mostly feedback, but you are feedback in the form of grading. You give them 10 points, maybe you just tell them, why am I giving you 10 points? That's about it. Whereas in the class notebook, you can have that kind of feedback for students to review, feedbacks for students to revise their work, and you can see, or you can track those changes within the notebook itself. Right? So that is, like that's why yesterday I told you, the class notebook is a little bit more involved in terms of what you can do with it. Right? Whereas the assignment is a very straightforward assignment functionality or features that will give you grades for you to do the tracking and stuff. Yeah. So that is the difference between the two. All right. So as far as student engagement is concerned, class notebook can be a very good advantage. Like I say, if you have things that you have already planned for the whole semester, you can actually put everything in here and just dish it out as and when you need your students to have the information that you have stored in here. All right. Question? Anything? Are we clear about the class notebook? Anything that I need to rewind, explain? Okay, I have questions. Let me see. Let me go through the questions that you have already posted here and answer them one at a time. All right. First, that you showed just now can only be viewed by class admin, by the lecturer. Only the one in the content library. All the content can be viewed by everyone, the lecturer and also students. But the one that you put in the content library can be viewed by students, cannot be edited. The one that you put in the collaboration space can be edited by both the lecturers and the students. All right. The one you assign to students can be edited by the students and can be viewed by the teacher as a student work. All right. So the only area where students can only read is the content library. So this is where actually we put in all the content that we need to use throughout the semester. Yeah, and then we actually release page by page or section by section to our students when the time comes. All right. So that's question number 1. I did not get the task in my class notebook. Were you? Which is? Oh, who is this? Shahreza. Right. Let me see. Are you in my class? Okay. Or maybe just now I just assigned it to one. There you go. You have opinion on remote learning as in the assignment section of your class notebook. Okay. Okay. Now you got it. All right. And other question, to add on subgroup under each section, we just need to add section. Am I right? Yes. If you want to create new section, yeah. Let's say, for example, this, like I said just now, the section that we have collaboration space. All right. If we collapse this, yeah, collapse this, collapse this, collapse this. Okay. So we have collaboration space, we have content library, and then we have the students. All the students notebook by itself. So if you want to add section, you can add here, or you can add within the collaboration space. But let's set new section here. All right, let's say we just now we want to do the project work outside, yeah, project work. Right, and we want to add a section here. All right, so you will have project work section under why did I put under Shahriza's Tisha's page? But it can go under one of this main section as well. All right. So then you can actually add the section here, and then you can add for each section you can also add the page. All right, and so you have the title page. Okay, so that's what we do. Okay, all right. All right, so that's how we manage class notebook. All right, like I said, it can be an advantage to us to make our work more structured, and at the same time, you can do pre-preparation, and at a later date, you can actually just let your students have your content as and when you need them to have it. All right, so that is what the class notebook is within Teams. All right, this class notebook is also available as part of Office 365. So sometimes we create the class notebook outside of Teams, and when you want to create the notebook in here, you just import what you created outside. Right, and you can actually use it, because when we started creating the class notebook just now, they ask you whether you want to have a blank, you want to start with a blank notebook or from existing notebook. If you already have a class notebook created within Office 365, then you can just actually import that notebook into Teams and use as is. All right, but most of the time people don't actually start it outside, use in Teams itself. So that's how you create the notebook within Teams. Okay. Any other question? Anything else that I need to review? Right. So you start off by creating your notebook. By default, those students in your class will already be automatically in, like what you saw just now. When I created the notebook, all these students were here yesterday and they were in my class. So when I created the notebook for Fishery 101, their names or they will be automatically enlisted inside the notebook itself, right? So each student will have their own space, and in their notebook they will have these 3 sections. that I can actually distribute content to. I can distribute quiz. If I have a pop quiz that I want to do today, I can actually distribute the quizzes here in the quizzes section. So it will not be, mixed up with assignment or class notes, right? And every student, in addition to their own space, they also have the collaboration space to work in with other students. And they also have the content library to refer to for materials that are provided to them by the lecturers. Right? So that's what the class notebook, or how the class notebook functions. Okay, so again, what you can do, you can distribute page, you can distribute, you can do individual distribution, you can do group distribution, you can cross notebook distribution. Let's say, for example, if you are teaching 3 classes and you have 3 different teams, fishery 101, you have food science 101, you have marine biology 101, got 3, and you have materials that is that can be used by all 3 classes. All right, so you can actually distribute that particular material across notebook distribution. So you can put this material from your content library, you can actually distribute it throughout the 3 classes that you have, rather than doing it one at a time. All right, then you have distribute new section. You can also, if you created just now, like I created the section group project, I can also distribute this new section to the different students, and or distribute a new section group to the different student. Okay, you can copy content to the content library. For example, you upload, you have content from the students page, and you want to copy it into the library so that you can actually share it with the other students. Let's say exemplary paper written by these students, and you want the paper to be also seen and reviewed by other students. You can copy that into the content library, and from there you can actually distribute it to the other students. Also possible, right? Then you have review student work. This is where you can actually do all the marking and whatnot. So it is the different section that you have. If it is quiz or assignment, just now we look at assignment. You can, all right. Okay, so this is the remote learning page. All right, so you can take a look at each and every one of the students, or we can just, from one student to the other, we can do not need to open one at a time. We can actually look at it simultaneously. So that's, for example, here just now, these are the things that you can look at. So again, all these functionalities up here is also applicable to this page. So you can view, you can draw, you can insert, you can use the home tab in order to do all the other things, dictation and kind of thing. So whatever that is available in Microsoft Word, functionalities or features are also applicable to the page that you are using, that you are writing at. All right, so that is what the whole thing about class notebook. I think if you are interested, I think you can actually slowly explore and take a look at what other things that's available. Okay, all right. All right, so now we're going to, if there are no other questions regarding class notebook, I want to move on to what other apps or third-party apps out there that we can actually use to enhance or to also add value to our class teams. Things that you can actually do in addition to what is already available. Okay, so like what we saw the last time, in the general channel, you have this, I think in all the sub-channel also, you have this plus sign, all right? So let's work with the general channel because this will be available to everybody in the class, all right? You have this plus sign, and if you click this plus sign, you will be given all the other apps that's available for you to integrate into Teams, right? So these are all the apps that can be integrated into Teams. You can bring in website, you can bring in Visio, you can Excel, you can bring in Flipgrid and whatnot, right? So it depends on what you want to do, because down here there are more. things that you can add. So depending on what your objective is and what you want to be able to do, you can actually add any one of these to enhance the learning experience for your students. Yeah, to continue to get students' engagement. Once in a while, we have to add other things other than just our lecture and assignment. Things that we require them to do, work for them, but the work is in the form of other than just perhaps written assignment and things like that. Right? So first, the first thing that I want to actually introduce to you is Flipgrid. All right, Flipgrid is a cloud-based video platform where we can actually use to get our students to respond to us or to give report, especially if you, right now, we do not have our students in the class, they are all over the place. And if there are things that you are assigning to them, and especially if it is like, what do you call it? Outside work, then you can actually use Flipgrid in order for them to come in and do and make a report. And Flipgrid can be accessed on their own, a standalone thing, or it can also be put inside Teams, and you can actually access Flipgrid using the Teams. Okay, so let me just see if I can integrate it in mine here, or else we will go outside and look at. So add. I already have an account for Flipgrid, but in order for you to be able to do that, you need to go to flipgrid.com and sign up, as an educator, and you can actually create your grid there, and then bring in the grid in here for your students to use. All right. Let's see. Okay. Let's say, for example, like now, you need to enter a flip code in order for you to embed that Flipgrid assignment inside here. Right, so I'm going to go to my Flipgrid account first. Let me go back here and show you. Okay, let's close this, We go to our website. Let's go to Edge. Oh, let's go and use something else. Let's go and use Google. If you are sharing your desktop, make sure that your desktop is clean. Don't put things that are not supposed to be seen on the desktop. All right, so let's go and look at Flipgrid. Yeah. Okay. This is actually a fun apps, but at the same time, it has a function. What do you call it? Their tagline is empowering every voice of the students. So everybody, each and every one of our students have the opportunity to speak out. Okay. Those that have used Flipgrid, both at the school level and also at the university level, they found that those students who are very quiet in the class suddenly becomes very, very articulate, wants to share their opinion through Flipgrid, because this is something that you do on your own. You can do the recording as many times as you want. Once you are satisfied, then only you upload. And that recording is available for everybody to see, right? Kind of makes it more interesting. It actually motivates some students to actually speak out. Yeah. So let me log in. Again, you can sign up as an educator. It's free because it's free. So then, why not use it? Yeah. The same thing like Kahoot and not. Yeah. Kahoot is mainly for quizzes. There are many other apps for quizzes and whatnot. Okay, so you can actually use this Flipgrid. Let me see. Okay. I have actually done a Flipgrid for the previous class, which is UMT reflection. I'm going to use the same thing, right? My code is Hamid 5114114. Yeah, 5114. Okay, so if we go back here just now, if we go back to Teams and I want to add Flipgrid, all right, later we go and take a look at how okay, let's say for Okay, you say enter flip grid code. So if I were to enter Hamid 5114, okay, we found it, yes, and save. All right, so I now have a flip grid activity in my Teams. All right, and students can actually click the flip grid or UMT reflection. All right, and they can actually record themselves, right? And if they can log in first with Google, and then they can actually log into record themselves. If they already have an account, so they can actually do the recording here. All right, so then the recording will be uploaded, and for you to, for you and for the rest of the class to come in and also to check on what your students are responding with. Okay, so this is an example of bringing in another third-party apps in order to actually add more engagement opportunity for your students. So we have just now, even in the Microsoft Word, you can actually do voice recording. But usually for those kind of recording, it is not, usually we do not encourage like long extended kind of recording. But for this one, you can actually record it outside. If you are doing a project work outside, you want to actually report on what is going on in the field, all right, then you can actually use this and upload it here. It is in the cloud, it will not be lost. All right, and anytime you want to look at it, or anytime you want to give grades, anytime students want to respond and give feedback, they can just go to Flipgrid and do the recording there. All right, all they need to do is, in order for them to be able to do this, if they are using their handphone, they just need to go to Play Store and download the apps, right, for them to be able to access the Flipgrid thing. All right, so this is one example of how we can add other apps available under Microsoft banner in order for you to be able to add engagement activities with your students, other than just what's already available in Teams. All right. Other question? Any question? Okay, all right, so that is one. And there are actually many more things that you can do. Let's say, for example, let's add a channel. And let us name the channel. What do we name? Let's say Kahoot. Right? I think a lot of lecturers like to use Kahoot. So we're going to do that. And add. Okay, so this Kahoot channel, I want to add Kahoot to it. So this is a dedicated channel for Kahoot. Let's say, for example, you use Kahoot a lot in order for you to do pop quizzes and tests and whatnot. Then you can actually just create one channel for Kahoot. You can add the application in here. All right. And whenever you want to use Kahoot as a means of testing your students, you can just actually go into Teams and work from Teams. You do not need to go and go outside and do Kahoot kind of things, and then later on you want to come back in and do work in the Teams. So from Teams you can actually branch out to whatever apps that you are using in order to make it more accessible. All right. So where are you? Oops. Let me try that one more time. Oh, there you go. I think the line is not quite strong. Okay, so there you go. All right, so you can log in into the account. You log in to my account. Okay, so if you have apps that you have been working with, okay, if you have apps that that you have been working with and you want to add it into Teams, you can also do the same thing. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so it's setting up Kahoot, my Kahoot in the team itself. So anytime I come in to Fishery 101 and I suddenly want to give a test, that is available to the students, I can actually come in here and play any one of the Kahoot that I have. All right. Okay, so that's one. Yeah, that's how you can actually bring in things from the outside. You can have different channel dedicated to it, or you can just put it in the general channel. Okay, and another way to actually bring in stuff that is not within the offerings here, you can also add other things by adding through adding the website. You can create a click website. You can create a name. Let's say, for example, I want to add MEC. Right, I want to add Microsoft Educators Community Center, MEC. All right, and I will get the URL for MEC. So education.microsoft, for example. Okay. All right, so I am adding another tab. Again, this is to make it easy for me to actually get access to this particular website. So if this is a training website for Microsoft for all the educators, so instead of going to MEC, logging out and going to MEC, I can actually assign, if I'm training teachers, for example, I can actually assign them to go to this website and do whatever that they need to do on my instruction. And once they're done, they can actually sign off, and we can actually add other things in here for them to actually respond. Let's say, for example, under this website, we can have like things that we can add for them to actually do. Okay, so this is those are different ways of how we can add things to Teams, or we can integrate things into Teams in order for us to give a more what do you call it, learning experience that is different from normal to our students. Again, like we say, when we are doing this remote learning, there's a lot of things that's not there for our students to be motivated to do. So we probably need to add other things to get them going, right? To get them to get in touch with us and stuff. Okay, so those are ways and means of how you can add stuff to your class Teams in order for you to add other things. For if you have other, let's say, for example, you want to add your LMS, all right, in here, so that you can actually access, or you can get students to access your LMS from inside Teams itself. They do not need to go out, and if they after doing some of the class notebook or classwork in the class notebook, and you want them to go to and do a courseware in your LMS, for example, you can add your LMS inside here. Let's say if we were to do that, we want to add we will do it by channel, so that it's easier for us to get it done. So we create a channel, and up here we will add a website, and then we will put in the LMS URL. Right, so then your LMS will also be packed in here for easy accessibility for your students. Right? So that's basically some of the extra functions or extra things that you can actually do with Microsoft Teams to make the whole thing reside in one place. That's the reason why we call it a learning hub rather than just a learning platform for remote learning or a platform for virtual classroom. It is more of a learning hub. It is, you can actually bring in a lot of things. Like what do you call it? My conclusion of Microsoft Teams is that it's about like 80% similar to an LMS. The only difference is that in LMS you can actually have your question bank and all of those things in there for you to do exam and stuff. Whereas here you do not have that. You do not have that, but you do have facility to do like pop quizzes, things that are that can be captured in terms of the marking, but as far as secure may not be that secure lah, because it's in the kind of things like this. Whereas in a exam environment you want it to be more controlled, so that maybe you can actually give it through your LMS, but you can actually integrate the accessibility of your LMS into Teams itself. So from here you can go to wherever the other sites that you want to go to. All right. Okay, any questions on Teams so far? Any more? Anything else that you want to know about Teams? I think I have covered almost everything. I think this is the most comprehensive one that I've done. All right, because we have we have the time to do it again. The other thing that that is very interesting that you probably can explore is a planner. Okay, this Microsoft Planner is a very let's say we add planner to our Teams. All right, here you can teach your students on how to do project management. In terms of create a new plan. Let's say, for example, okay, project sehat. Okay, so let's say, for example, you have this project, use existing, we want to create a new plan. All right, so you can build in the planner in here, so you can actually teach your students on how to plan for a project, the task, how do you keep track. It's something similar to Microsoft project, but it is not that extensive lah. So you can actually do your to-do list. You can have chart, you can have schedule. For example, at a task, for example, the first task is brainstorming. First task is kick-off meeting. Right? And you set a due date. Let's say, for example, you want the meeting to be today is 20 tomorrow. All right, and then you assign it to somebody to take charge of it. So let's say, for example, I'm assigning it to Dr. Hazlina to take charge. All right, then you add tasks. All right, so you now they have one kick-off meeting tomorrow, and this is the person in charge. All right, you can add a new bucket, and you can name the bucket whatever. All right, then you can have all the tasks. So as you finish the task, you will be reporting. So again, if this is a project that you are going to do with Fishery 101, from within Teams, you can actually also do the project management with your students. Okay. And if you are using Teams for your professional work, for let's say, for example, you are doing a research amongst yourself or with people from outside of your university, these are some of the things that will be available to you to do the tracking, to do the planning, and all kinds of stuff. Right? So those are, again, like I said, there are so many other apps in here that you can actually use. That probably you need to explore, but for what do you call it, common users, those are some of the things that I have showed you. People use Flipgrid a lot for assignment or for evaluation purposes, for feedback purposes. People use Kahoot a lot in order to do pop quizzes and add fun to the online learning. People use Wakelet, for example. Okay, it's another third-party apps to actually do putting a lot of materials together. All right, And there are a lot of other things in here, which some of them I even have not even explored. But these are the possibilities that you can actually use in Microsoft Teams, right? That you can actually add to it. Okay. All right. So that's I think that's all that I want to share with you about Microsoft Teams. But I want to introduce you to, how many of you here have tried using Microsoft Edge before? Which the browser that belongs to Microsoft? Okay. Where is it? Okay. Let me just show you a little bit about Microsoft Edge. Again, we have always been using, what do you call this? I've been using Google, right? Google Chrome and whatever. So Microsoft Edge is also a new browser. I think they have Chromized it. And what I like about Microsoft Edge is that, like I mentioned earlier, Microsoft has actually tweaked a lot of its apps to suit educational purposes. All right. So one of the new introduction of Microsoft Edge is that the layout can actually be customized to what you like. Right. For example, if you use this focus layout, it is clean and nothing, no fancy things here. If you want to look, it will be down here. But if you want, so for example, an inspirational layout, you have some background picture that can inspire you, you know, that you can actually use. And then you have informational layout. They have a lot of information out here, which sometimes can be very distracting. So for learning purposes, we usually suggest that students use the focus layout, so that no distraction, not much distraction. It's only those things that you need, the tiles that you access most. All right. Let's say, for example, let me go to one. Let me go to this particular website. Let's say, for example, you assign your students to go to a website and do some reading, or a place where there is a journal page that you want them to read. All right, and you want them to take notes on what they read. Okay, so what Edge has done, all right, is you have up here this plus sign. It's called collection. All right, you can click this. All right, and you can actually start a collection of reading materials. So let's say, for example, for this particular project, you want students to read like a few articles from all over the web, right? And you want them, as they read, to take notes, so that you know that they are not copy pasting, but they know, they read and understand what they're reading and taking notes based on their understanding. So you can have this collection here. You can, let's say, for example, start a new collection. I can name the collection project 1. All right. And I want this current page to be added to this collection. I can just add current page. So the GTTP page is here, and I can add comments. All right. So I can take notes as I read this page. I can actually take note on you know, what I have read, and you can insist that your students write or take notes based on their understanding in their own words. Okay. And so you want them to copy paste, but you want them to actually extract the gist of what they're reading and put it in their own words. So this can actually be done at the web page itself. Once you are done, you can actually share this, send it to Word, send it to Excel, or copy to everyone, copy all, and put it somewhere else. All right. So this is one way. If they have sent it to Word, then they can actually save it in Word, and they can actually submit it to you in Teams, for example. Yeah. So this is one example of the functionality of the Edge browser. Okay. Let's say if I were to log in. Go to this account. All right, if I were to open this page, let's say, for example, if I want to training material, let's say, kenapa ni? Can you still see me? I'm going to, I think this. It's not happening. I need to show you a website where the immersive reader will come into play when you actually use the Microsoft Edge, because it's in there. Let me go to another website and check that out. Let's say remote learning. All right, let's see. Let's put open. Okay. Let's just say this 10 best practices. When you open that website, if it is a reading page, why is the, there you go. All right, as soon as it is an extended text kind of page, the the immersive reader icon will appear in your URL here. And when you click this, again, the immersive reader can be used to help your students read that particular page. So if you are assigning a student to read something in English, and you know that the students are not that well versed in the language, you can actually get them to use the immersive reader to help them read. Yeah, so they can read aloud. They can have text preferences. Text preferences meaning you can actually change the text size, text spacing. You can have the color of themes. Let's say I want it black on pink. All right, I can read better that way. So this is what you can actually reading preference. I want it to be line focused so that I can be more focused on it. So it will be read line by line. Okay. So again, these are all things that can actually help students in terms of their ability to understand what they are reading. So then, if we were to ask them to take notes, they should not have any problem lah, because they have assistance in terms of reading the text. All right. So this is what Microsoft Edge is able to offer, especially those with perhaps language problem or reading problem. Can actually take advantage of this. Let me see if yesterday I think I've shown it to you in terms of the picture dictionary. Oh, but this one doesn't have, I think. Oh, it's not activated. Text spacing thing. Oh no. Okay, this one doesn't have the picture dictionary thing. So in terms of meaning, they won't be able to help that out. All right. So there are some version they have that picture dictionary feature. So if the students do not know the meaning of the word, they can actually tap on the word, and a meaning of that word will appear. Right. So again, this is something that I think is very helpful for our students. For them to actually use this particular browser for their learning purposes. All right. So that is something that I just want to show you. Should you not know about it yet, you can download the thing. It's what do you call it? It's free for you to have it on your desktop. Okay. All right. All right. So I think that's about it. I do not want to go any further. Thank you very much for attending. Is there any other questions that you would like to ask, or anything else that you want me to cover? All right. So basically, right? Basically, if you look at Office 365, there are a lot of other things that's available there. Some of it may not be of our interest as an educator, but again, there are, for example, the OneNote. Like I said just now, OneNote is a very handy apps to have for us to actually put in all our collections of things in one place. And if we are using the cloud facility, then it is actually safely kept in the cloud. All right. So that is something that you may want to explore. Okay. So that's it. I think for today, that's all that I want to cover as far as Microsoft Teams is concerned. If you do have the opportunity to use it, I think you will find it very useful. But I think with all universities, you will need to get your IT people to actually give you access on the usage of Teams. Okay. Okay. Any other question? Yes. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to give you the recorded version of yesterday's one. Let me get the link for you. Okay. Hang on. Okay, I'm typing it in the chat section. All right, so that is the link for yesterday's session. Today's session give me at least an hour or so. I will get it downloaded, and then I will post it, or I'll give it to, or I'll post it here. You can actually come into Teams and look at, because this Fishery 101 is in UMT domain, so you will be able to access this even though we have finished the meeting. So I will post it in the Fishery 101 chat area once I get it downloaded and posted it in YouTube. Okay, so for the two sessions that we have. All right. So if there is nothing else, again, thank you very much for attending. I hope I have managed to help you with some information on Microsoft Teams, and I hope it is useful for you to explore. And perhaps next semester or beyond that, you will be able to use Teams as a means of your blended learning mode for your students, so that they can also be exposed to the and whatever that is going to happen beyond UMT. All right. So again, thank you very much for attending. Really appreciate it. On behalf of Microsoft, we would like to encourage, if, like, let's say, for example, if there are things that you want me to redo or at any training, like for example, if you are interested in one word, if you OneNote, if you have enough interest, you definitely can get in touch with me. We can make an arrangement, and we can do a demo on OneNote itself, because like I said, that is there's a lot of things that you can actually do in OneNote. I have one ustazah in Tawau. She has her entire teaching materials in OneNote, and she goes to class just using her Microsoft Surface and a projector and screen beam. So she connects the Surface through the screen beam, and she just teach from that particular tablet, without having to carry books and stuff like that. And that is the kind of thing that we can actually do with technology today, right? And good to explore. All right. Okay. Again, we're gonna end it here. Thank you very much again for attending. Those of you who are here yesterday and today, I know that you are very interested in this. Yeah, and I hope that you find it useful and be able to use it with your students. Right. So with that, thank you very much again, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Okay, all right, so I'm going to stop the recording. Okay. All right.